What's up, guys? Doing a video on scientific names. Someone gave me an idea today about doing a video in regards to, how to pronounce and work with some of the scientific names in regards to tarantulas and arachnids and things like that. Um, it's one thing that, if you have spiders at any point, you kind of have to become familiar with it. It just makes things easier, in my opinion. Common names are great. They are what most people are introduced to in the pet trade. Reptiles, they use a lot of common names. With tarantulas, it's a little different though, because with a lot of tarantulas, there can be several different common names for one species, and you always want to know exactly what you're talking about when I think when dealing with spiders and things like that. So knowing the scientific name can help a lot. And whereas many different species in one genus, for example, could have similar common names, they're all only going to have one scientific name, and then you're able to separate them out and know which ones specifically you're talking about, or someone else is talking about. The Brachypelma genus, for example, there's a lot of different spiders in there. They're all kind of similar, and they all have various, their common names have variations of like Mexican, leg, rump, red knee, red leg, fire knee, fire rump, red rump. It can go on and on. So I like to cut out all the maybes and what ifs and just say Brachypelma smithii, Brachypelma vagans, Brachypelma boehmii, Brachypelma auratum. Then you can know exactly what you're talking about and just cut down the brass tacks and stuff. So, just to give you a little bit of a background about scientific names, if you're not aware, the system is based off of what's called binomial nomenclature. It just means two names. It's a branch off of taxonomy, and it gives descriptions, and it categorizes the animals, in an efficient manner for scientific purposes, basically. So, um, if you are writing it out, the first name in a scientific name is going to be the genus name, and that's always going to be capitalized if you're writing it out. So, for example, humans, the scientific name would be Homo sapien, and the H in Homo would be capitalized, and the rest of it would be lowercase letters. And if you want to get really technical, most people in academia will put the words in italics, but you don't really have to do that if you're talking casually, or you can't really put words in italics unless you're typing them. I'll do it sometimes if I'm bored or if I have the time, but if not, it just you'll see a lot of times abbreviations too, where you don't write out the genus name and just put like the first letter, period, and then the species name. That's fine too. It just makes things a little bit easier. So I'm going to go through a couple of the more common names, or the harder names. I'm going to tell you what the common name is, and then I'm going to pronounce them. The scientific name. Also, a lot of people call them Latin names. There is Latin in there, but it's a combination of Latin, Greek, and histrionics. Histrionics being that the scientific name will contain information such as the person who scientifically described the animal, the location where the animal is found, that kind of thing. So if you see something in there that for example, one that just popped into my mind right now, it's not an arachnid, but the electric blue day geckos. Their genus name is I want to say it's like Ligrodactylus or something like that, and then the species name is Williamsi, and it's because the person who described that species, their name is Williams, or their last name is Williams, so that's why you see names, or what seems like it doesn't make sense, but that's why that stuff's in there. Okay, but here's I'm going to go through. I'm looking at a list. So the giant white knee is a really common species. Their scientific name is Acanthoscurria geniculata. a lot of the easiest thing to do is just go about, just sound it out, and you have to break it up into syllables. That's fine. I mean, just it's with any big name or any big word, you just have to look at it, because the scientific names, they're broken up into parts because they're descriptive. The Latin or the Greek or whatever the word is made up of, it describes the animal. So it kind of makes sense after you look at it for a little while. Um, let's do another one. Let's see. The Mexican redknee. The scientific name for that one is Brachypelma smithi. Let's see. The common pink-toed tarantula. It is Avicularia avicularia. The Latin or the scientific name, the genus and species are the same. You'll see that sometimes, and then, for example, the Antilles pink-toe is a really common species, real popular spider. The Latin name for that one is Avicularia versicolor. Let's see. I'll do another one. I'll do a few of them. The Costa Rican tiger rump. The scientific name for that one is Cyclosternum fasciatum. Let's see, the blue fang tarantula. It is Ephibopus cyanognathus. And if you look at the words, if I was a little bit more, I guess, better at putting text on the videos and things like that, I would put the name up there so you could see it. And you would see that the name, as you sound it out, it makes sense. It's not nothing real fancy. It's just, they're just big words. That's what, it's intimidating sometimes. So you just have to kind of break them up into little pieces, and it makes sense. Let's see, greenbottle blue. The scientific name for that one is Chromatopelma cyanopubescens. Let's see. The rose hair, real common spider. The Latin name or scientific name is Grammostola rosea. Another species in that genus, the Chaco golden knee, is Grammostola pulchripes. It used to be, they changed it within the last few years, it used to be Grammostola areostriata, and then they revised it. So that happens sometimes. Keeping track of that can be a little hectic too, but they don't change real often. I guess that's a good thing. The cobalt blue, the scientific name for that one is Haplopelma levitum. Let's see here. Let's see. Sorry, I'm looking at this list trying to pick out the best ones. The salmon pink bird eater. The scientific name is Lasiodora parahybana. Once you get more familiar with the scientific names, I just think they sound cooler. Maybe I'm a nerd, but whatever. I just think it sounds cooler than salmon pink bird eater. I guess that sounds cool to some people, but I like the scientific names. Sorry, I should have drunk some water before I did this. Let's see. The Goliath bird eater, another really common, popular, well, not common, but really popular spider. A lot of people want it. It's the biggest spider in the world. The scientific name is Theraphosa blondi. That's also where the order of spiders or tarantulas get their name. They're Theraphosids. You'll see that sometimes too. Let's see. The Indian ornamental. The scientific name is Pocalotheria regalis. There's a lot of other species in that genus, of course. Pocalotheria rufilata, the red slate ornamental. There's Sri Lankan ornamental, Pocalotheria fasciata. You'll see them all. A nickname of that genus is sometimes people will call them pokies, just because they don't feel like writing out Pocalotheria. It's kind of a long name, so that's why you'll see that. Let's see. Another common species, the Usambara baboon tarantula, or the OBT, the infamous OBTs. Their scientific name is Torinochilus marinus. Now that's a kind of a tricky one because their Latin name starts with a P. It's a silent P. They don't say the P at all. So every now and then they'll throw you a curveball. Let's see if there's any other really good ones. One you don't see very often, but it's a kind of a cool spider. It's the only genus I know of whose genus name starts with an X. They're Xenesthus amanus, and they are the Colombian, gosh, what is this common noun? Colombian blue bloom bird eater. The common names for some of those things are just kind of goofy to me. It's just like, I don't know. I just don't want to say to somebody, this is a blue bloom bird eater. It just sounds goofy. I'd rather say Xenesthus amanus. Then you know exactly what it is, and it doesn't sound goofy. But hopefully that clarifies things a little bit better. And don't be afraid of scientific names. You get used to it. It makes it a lot easier. If you guys have any requests or want me to do, like, send me a list or something, want me to pronounce them for you, that's cool too. I can do that. But hopefully this helps you guys out. And until next time, have fun.